We moved into a house in the country about 4 months ago. Since we had previously lived in an apartment, that means we needed to buy a lawnmower. Instead of putting out $200+ on a lawnmower when we have to move in a few years, we decided to hire somebody to cut our grass. Initially, we went with the guy that my fiance used to work with, but $65 every 2 weeks starts to add up, and I was looking for something cheaper. That brings me to Charles. Charles posted in my Facebook classified that he was looking for some lawns to cut this weekend, and that he had a reputable company. So, I sent him a message. Initially, Charles came off as nice. He asked for my address so he could stop by and give me an estimate. After stopping by my house, he sent me a message saying, "Dang, sweetheart, you got a big porch." It made me kind of uncomfortable, but figured I was overreacting and started planning when he could come out. I told him which days I had off from work, but he assured me that I didn't have to be home. I told him to come Wednesday. Wednesday morning, he messaged me, "Are you home?" I said no. 3 hours later, "Are you home yet?" I told him, "No, I won't be home until after 8. Charles then informed me that his tire had a flat and he could come tomorrow. Thursday, the first thing in the morning, he messaged me, "Will you be home today?" I told him no. He messages back a few hours later, "How about now?" I said, "No, I told you I wouldn't be home all day. Are you still coming out?" He then told me that his truck broke down. He was sending messages like, "Please don't be upset with me, sweetheart." At this point, I was getting really creeped out. I told him to just come tomorrow. Friday, it's actually my off day, but I woke up and I left the house for the day. He messages me, "Hey, I'm coming. You're off today, right?" I said, "Yes, but I'm not home." "When will you be home?" "I don't know." He messaged me later saying, "Sorry, babes, I was loading the equipment onto my truck and it fell and broke. Maybe I can come tomorrow." At this point, I was really creeped out and I told him, never mind, I was gonna find someone else. On Saturday, I get off of work around 4 or 5, and I check my phone and find multiple messages from him saying that he had cut my grass and that I need to come home and give him the money. I told him no, I'll cash app it to you. He started getting really irate and saying that I need to give him the money now. I told him that I would give him the money after I got home, and thought the grass was cut. I was honestly really worried he would be waiting at my house, so I got a friend to drive home behind me. He wasn't there. I sent him the money and I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward 2 months later, I'm on the phone with my fiance as I drive to class, and he tells me that he has to get off the phone because there's somebody walking down our driveway. I asked what he meant, and he said there is a man walking around in our driveway and front yard. After I got to class, he texted me telling me that it was just a man who would come by to promote his lawn care business. I didn't think anything about it, as it had been 2 months. But later that night, I got home and I saw a business card laying on my counter, with the name of the man who had been messaging me earlier. I called my fiance, Mike, at work, and asked how the guy had been acting. He said Charles seemed genuinely surprised that a man had come out, and asked if I lived alone. I asked Mike if the man had stopped at any other houses, and he replied, "Now that I think about it, no. After he left our house, he just left." Mike said he had seemed really desperate to help around the house and offered to cut the lawn, fix our porch, remove any trash or scrap metal that we had around the house, and then asked if we had any pests such as bats in our attic or anything. That especially freaked me out, as we do have a bat problem, and I had previously posted about it on Facebook. Mike then said what was really weird is Charles was very freaked out about the dog. He heard Max barking from inside and started asking a lot of questions like, "Is he big? Does he stay outside or inside? Does he ever go outside or does he stay inside completely? How big is he? Is he nice? Mike chalked it up to him being scared of dogs. He gave him a brief tour of the outside of the house, and then Charles got in his truck and left. I then told Mike that this was the same guy who had been messaging me earlier in the year, and Mike began to freak out. He said that Charles had asked a lot of really specific questions about who all lived here and how long they had lived here, and where they were at the time. He said he tried to brush them off, but Charles seemed really insistent to know if Mike was the only one in the house. Before he left, Mike specifically asked him if he had cut the lawn here before or something, and maybe he was thinking of the last owners. But Charles told him, "No, I just happened to be out this way, and thought that I would promote my business to the neighborhood." The worst part, I had taken my fiance's car to work that day, which means that my car was in the driveway when Charles stopped by. He thought that I was home alone. I didn't contact the police because I thought I might be overreacting. This all happened 2 days ago, and I really hope that I never see him again. First off, this story happened almost 10 years ago. I'll jump right in because it's long. I got home from work one day and logged into Facebook to find a message from someone I didn't know. It was too long ago to remember verbatim what was said, but it was along the lines of, "Hey, I know you have no idea who I am, but I've been trying to decide what to do for a few days, and figured I'd let you know what's been going on. Someone has been catfishing me using your identity for over 2 years, and I just found out about it last week." The sender of the message was clearly pretty shaken up and understandably was experiencing a mix of emotions. According to her, she had met the imposter online a little over 2 years ago prior to her writing this, and that they had been engaged in a pretty intimate long-distance relationship for the majority of that time. The imposter had created a Facebook and had over time reposted almost all of my photos with their own captions on them, including a good amount of the art that I had drawn that they took credit for. They created fake profiles for a good amount of my close family and friends, so they could comment on the photos of themselves to make the profile seem legit. The funniest part to me is that, although most things in my real life seem to be mirrored in this fake profile, I, being a straight male, was instead portrayed as a trans. I think the main reason for this was that the sender of the email and the imposter would actually speak on the phone, and the imposter turned out to be female in the end, and therefore needed a reason to justify her more feminine-sounding voice. The sender of the email was justifiably both angry and creeped out and wanted to find the catfish. She started asking me a lot of questions about my life, but phrasing them like, "Is your sister's name blank? And did you go to blank high school?" Some of them were clearly information that anyone could glean from a quick browse of my profile. But then she asked me, "Is your best friend?" Which struck me as odd since despite this person actually being my closest friend, and who I spend the most time with, we have barely any Facebook photos together, and most are from a long time ago. And then she asked, "Were you adopted? And are your half-siblings' names blank and blank?" Which sealed the deal for me since I knew for a fact I had never posted about being adopted online. The sender of the email already had an idea that this person had known me in real life, but this confirmed it for me. The sender of the email had contacted me shortly after confronting the imposter for the first time. I guess after 2 years, they had finally become suspicious of the fact that the imposter wouldn't show their face. I have no idea how it took them this long to figure out that they were being played, but I'm glad they finally decided to give the ultimatum of "show your face or I'm cutting you off." I'm pretty sure this is the point where the imposter admitted to being a catfish, and that she had been using the identity of someone she had a crush on in high school before hanging up. I was given the URL so I could look through the profile myself, which was up for about 2 days after I saw it before it was all removed. It was definitely really bizarre. The imposter had posted more than I ever had on Facebook, and it genuinely seemed like they had lived a pretty involved double life online as me. Almost everyone I had posted photos with on my real profile would then have their own fake profiles created, that had enough content to be genuinely convincing that they could be tagged in and validate these new photos. Some of these profiles seem to have gone and made their own real friends as well. I wonder if any of those were used to facilitate even more online dating deception. Either way, the amount of time that this person had spent fabricating their alter ego's online presence was pretty shocking. The whole time I'd been crawling down this Facebook rabbit hole, the sender of the email was looking through my real profile. After a while, she sent me a message saying, "Did you take these photos?" and showed me what I remember as a black and white photo of a barn or something. I hadn't. Which was weird because everything else on the fake profile originated with me, and she had noticed the discrepancy. We both tried reverse image searching with no luck, and then, either through a stroke of genius or somewhat suspiciously, I really couldn't tell, she thought to flip the fake number the imposter had written into the fake Facebook profile around in reverse, and a Google search came up with a landline that belonged to the home address of a girl that I had gone to high school with. Real me was Facebook friends with real imposter's profile, so we both went snooping around and found the photo that she had claimed I had taken, which pretty much confirmed to me that this was the imposter. I'm pretty sure there were more indicators to the sender as well, but I can't remember. I thought about messaging her for a while, but decided that it probably wouldn't lead to anything good. At the time, my thoughts were definitely, let's not meet. I talked a few times with the sender of the email just to try and decompress a bit, but honestly, I just wanted to distance myself from the situation, and also I had my suspicions about the sender as well. I figured maybe it was the imposter's one last ditch effort to try and talk to me. Although, when it was all over, the sender seemed to be eager to leave all this behind as well, so maybe not. Either way, it was a really strange experience. I felt freaked out and violated, but I guess there is a small part of me that was flattered by it. I had a lot of mixed emotions. The weirdest part to me is that I'm a really approachable person, and I would have definitely been willing to talk and probably be friends if this person had just approached me instead. Although, I'm still not sure if this was done out of an obsession for me, or if this person felt like I was just a suitable image to base this fabricated persona off of. I remember talking to her probably twice throughout high school, and really didn't have a good idea of who she was other than a quiet hipster girl. If either person involved reads this, I'd definitely be happy to talk now. It's been years, but I've gone from being very put off to always wondered why this person chose me over a myriad of other more attractive or interesting people online to base their other life off of. According to the sender who had contacted me, she had probably spent most of her time online pretending to be me than she actually did going about her own life. I have had a tumultuous history of addiction and have had plenty of my own escapes, which is why it's always fascinated me that someone would want to pretend to live someone else's life as a means of doing that. Because at the end of the day, the person pretending to be me had no idea that I spent my time daydreaming of being a different person as well. I guess it just goes to show you that no matter how much you wish you were someone else, chances are that person has plenty of their own reasons to want to escape their own demons, for their own reasons. When I was in my early 20s, I was very mentally unstable. Shout out 6 years since my last psych hospitalization and being the most functional and stable I've ever been in my entire life. I was lonely and desperate for friends. I've struggled with binge eating, and it was particularly bad at the time with a lot of delivery and late night fast food binges. One night that I ordered pizza, this man delivers it. Maybe in his mid to late 30s or early 40s, and I think I was 19 or 20 at the time. We didn't have any very engaging conversation. It was a normal friendly pizza delivery driver conversation. He may have complimented me on my piercings or hair at the time or a shirt. This was a decade ago, so I don't really remember. I do know there was nothing that indicated I wanted to be friends and that it was simply a customer-driver interaction. I think it was a day or so later and he adds me on Facebook. I wanted to emphasize that this was a days later, meaning he took my information home or noted it somewhere. I'm autistic and I have a hard time recognizing faces, especially putting faces to names, and realized that he had found me based off of my order information. Being unstable, lonely, and desperate for friends and also living life by, I made decisions based on whether or not it will make a good story. I definitely don't do that anymore, and I accepted the friend request. He left some creepy, typical, overly sexual comments on some Facebook photos, but we never met or talked or anything ever again, and I think I deleted him a few months later. I don't remember exactly, but I definitely realized that, okay, this is weird. A delivery driver that was almost twice my age at the time and decided, after less than a 10-minute interaction, to find me on Facebook days later. Let's never meet again, and I hope you don't do this to anyone else. Or if you did, I hope that they were smarter and in a better place than me to get your creepy vibes and decline. I should have reported it to the company, but, hindsight is 20/20. I also want to note that I've had delivery drivers creepily try to flirt with me since, and it's the worst. Please let me eat my greasy food in peace. As a former driver, unless you have a dog, I could always forgive a bad tip if they let me pet their dog. Let's keep this brief, courteous, and remember to tip your drivers. At the start of this year, I, a 34-year-old female, was happily living my life, when I get this odd Facebook request, a girl that I didn't recognize at all. I went to the profile and I noticed that we had like 70 friends in common, but I also noticed that these were friends that would not be common to anybody, in different countries, cities, social circles, so I knew something was up. I also noticed that the profile had been created in 2012, but nothing had been posted since. So I messaged the person. Hey, I don't remember you. Where did we meet? There's no answer for like 2 weeks. At the time, I was feeling really distracted by Facebook and unsettled by this friend request, so I closed it. Around a week later, I get text on my phone telling me to be careful, that someone was speaking badly about me. The next day, a friend calls me up to let me know that a girl has posted a picture of me, saying that I was doing bad things and I was an alcoholic who had many bad things going on, and that I had slept with her boyfriend, that I would sleep with anybody for a bottle of beer. A bunch of my friends were commenting defending me. She replied calling me abusive, saying that I never graduated university, and the usual other insults. And she replies to my message, although my account is closed, the messenger is still active, just calling me out. I also get a message from another account telling me something very bad would happen, and that people were talking crap about me. I proceed to block and report her, and this other account too. Many of my friends reported her profile and post, however, it was not removed. Instead, she closes it on her own. I think because several people started commenting negatively on her post. Time passes, no sign of her. My Facebook is still closed and I'm happy. 1 month ago, she opens the account again. The picture and comments are still there, and starts sending requests to friends of my friends. I am again alerted by this. I report to Facebook. The post stayed up for about 3 days. Some of my friends message her, and she replies telling them that I slept with her boyfriend, sometimes her husband, and that I was deserving of what I would get. A few days later, I get a message from a third account, with fake screenshots of chats she supposedly had with my friends. The message also says that she is threatening to go to my house and hit me. More friends alert me. She is sending them messages asking for information about me, with the usual bad insults and the story about her husband or boyfriend. By this point, she had amassed over 3,000 friends. Additionally, she lets me know that she will be creating a blog about me showing revealing pictures and videos of me which don't exist. Sure enough, a couple of days ago she creates the blog, showing any picture of me that she could find. The screenshots of fake chats with friends, naming random bars where I could be found drinking, and enlisting rock bands that I slept with. She floods all Facebook groups, pages, and events in my small city with a link to this blog and the usual insults about me. She also sends the link as a message to every account that she can, I imagine. I guess that after a bunch of people reported the account, it was closed. However, the 2 other accounts continue posting the blog link everywhere they can. I also received text messages asking me to get rid of myself and letting me know that this is not even the beginning. I have no idea how to make this stop, and I'm somewhat afraid if this person decides to move from the online world to the real world. I have no idea who this is. The behavior that she describes is fake and it doesn't really make sense. I just really wish this person would leave me alone on Facebook and in my real life. Dear random person, may we never meet again.